Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a traditional video like this. As you know, I've been doing a lot of sound font reviews, which you can check out in the description below, as well as the top right corner of this video right now. If those were a ton of fun, I recommend going check those out. Also, I have become affiliates of a few companies. None of them are Saber companies. You can check those out in the description below. Feel free to go use my affiliate links to show your support. Thank you so much in advance for that. So today's video is one that I wanted to do again. This is something that I did, I think, in April of 2021, which was a video on my lightsaber collection. And in that video, and I think in the description of that video, I said that I wanted to do that to show how much my collection would change. And it has changed quite a bit since the last time I did a video on that. Like I said, I think that was last April, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below as well, so you can compare and contrast. So I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet, just so you can get a comparison between now and then. And I'm going to start off in chronological order from when I got my first saber to the last saber that I have. The first saber I got, obviously, is still in my collection, and that is the Saber Trio Vectra. This is a CFX. I first started my lightsaber journey in January of 2020. I have done several videos with this saber. I've talked about it a whole lot. I've shown it off a whole lot. It is probably my most reliable saber. I've never had any issues with it. It's still ticking to this day, still sounds great. Obviously, this saber sounds really good. I've talked about it a million times about how awesome this saber is. This is my first saber. I have 12 sabers as it sits right now. 6 of them are replica sabers. 6 of them are custom sabers, and this is obviously a custom saber. It's not a replica of anything in the Star Wars universe. This is the Vectra by Saber Trio. This is a CFX and NeoPixel saber. This was before they started selling proffie sabers and all that stuff. This was a CFX saber. I got this early on when lockdown started happening, supply chain, everything started getting messy. That's when I got this saber. They shut down for a few months. I got it a little bit later than I expected, but then again, it was 100% worth the wait. If I didn't have this saber, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. You wouldn't be watching this video. My channel would not exist without this saber. So I am eternally grateful for this saber, and this is one that I will never part with in my collection. So that is the Saber Trio Vectra, CFX, and NeoPixel. The next one that was in my collection that I had talked about in the original video was a Parks LS6 in the V2 configuration. Not an extremely accurate version of the Luke Skywalker saber. It was kind of just a basic eco version of that saber created by Jeff Parks, and I actually gave that one away. I didn't give it away in a giveaway per se for my channel. I actually gave it to one of my college professors who I know was a huge Star Wars fan. Don't worry, I gave it to him after the semester. It wasn't for extra credit, or was it? But I actually gave it to my professor, and he greatly appreciated that. So I was happy to be able to do that for him. I know he was around when the original trilogy aired. So I think that that was, a very fitting home for that saber, since I was looking to get rid of it in my collection and eventually get another V2 in the future. But that's neither here nor there. That was just something that changed in my collection. The third saber that I got was the Paxtor Shiva, which is now no longer in my collection because I did give it away on this channel a few months back. And then the third saber, actually the fourth saber in my collection, which is the third saber that I actually got rid of. I actually auctioned it off for a St. Jude's charity stream a while back on Twitch. I don't have the Parks LS6 anymore, I don't have the Paxtor Shiva anymore, and I don't have the Crimson Dawn Shrike. I don't have those sabers anymore. But the saber that I do have is the 89 Sabers Fallen V2. This one is still in my collection, and like I've said many times, I don't plan to ever get rid of this one either. This is a saber that means a whole lot to me because it was my first replica saber, or first real replica saber. The Parks LS6, obviously that was a replica, but it didn't stay in my collection. It wasn't incredibly accurate, anything like that, but this is one that is very accurate. This is a Fallen V2 by 89 Sabers. This was installed with proffie and NeoPixel by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers LLC, and it was also weathered by Benji Graham of Nerf Herder Customs. I've shown this one off multiple times on the channel. I'll leave links in the description below, if I can, to all the videos that show off all these sabers that I'm going to talk about in this video. So feel free to go check out those videos if you care to do so. But this is the Fallen V2 by 89 Sabers, masterfully weathered by Benji Graham. You got the wires and the rods and all of that stuff, the real gritty aluminum black weathering. Everything on this is just absolutely stunning, and he made a blade plug for me, so thank you very much. So proffie, NeoPixel, and weathered by Benji Graham of Nerfooter Customs and installed by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers LLC. This is the 89 Sabers Fallen V2. Now we have another run of sabers that I don't currently own anymore, and that would be, the next one would be the Puck Store Flight. I also gave that one away a few months back. The 89 Sabers Graflex, or the Graflex Supreme as some call it, I actually sold that one to make room for another saber that I'll show off later in this video, but I do still have my 7 Chambers Anti-Flex V2. This is the most accurate version of Anakin Skywalker's Revenge of the Sith lightsaber. It is super heavy. It's chrome-plated brass, so this is extremely heavy, but very well made. This one was also installed, as you'll see, this will be a trend in this video. This one was installed by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers LLC. This is from 7 Chambers. I have people ask me all the time on my older videos, you know, where can I buy this saber? Where can I buy that saber? It's out of stock. People, please realize that I try to put links in the description below in every video I ever do. And if it's a link to a store website and they're out of stock, that's not my fault. I can't control that. And if you need, you know, clarification on when they're in stock, go check out their website, go check out their Facebook, go check out their Instagram, message them, email them or something. I can't control their stock level. So please just, if that's a situation that you run into, please just refer all your questions to the companies themselves or check out their social media, because more likely than not, your question will be answered if you follow those steps. So Anti-Flex V2, this is one of my absolute favorites in my collection. I've had so many people tell me to wear gloves when I use the saber, and I'm not ever going to, but this is a great saber made by 7 Chambers, buttons painted by Sean Patterson of SP Sabers. And this is another one, like many of them, I've said that in the past, and I've gotten rid of sabers, so I can't really say one that I'll never get rid of, but I really never plan to get rid of this one because it is one of my all-time favorite sabers in the entire Star Wars collection, all the movies, all that kind of stuff. So 7 Chambers Anti-Flex V2, installed by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers LLC with Proffie and NeoPixel. Next, in comparison to the first video I did, I had the wonderful Sabers Twin Sons. Those were an Ahsoka Tano Rebels, and I don't want to say Mandalorian because they came out before Mandalorian Season 2 came out. So this was based on the Rebels sabers from Ahsoka Tano, the white bladed sabers. I used to have those and I sold them. I really didn't want to sell them. I really wanted to keep those in my collections, but like I did with the 89 Sabers Graflex, I sold those to make room for something else I have in my collection, which I'll get to, I think, in like 3 or 4 or 5 sabers from now. But the next saber I have, after I got rid of the Twin Sons, after I sold them, is the Veracity Labs Mom of All Heroes. This is the most accurate Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi hero hilt on the market. This is directly inspired by the cave scene, the deleted cave scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my video on this saber. This is a saber that I actually gave away. I didn't give away this one, this particular one, but I did give away a Mom of All Heroes. So thank you, 7 Chambers, for contributing to that. That was greatly appreciated. But this is my personal Veracity Labs Mom of All Heroes. This is one, like I just said about the Anti-Flex, like I just said about the Fallen V2, like I just said about the Saber Trio Vectra, I will never part from this one. Luke Skywalker is probably my favorite character besides Anakin in the entirety of Star Wars, and this is one that is so incredibly well made, and it is so perfect, it's so beautiful, it's so nice to hold, that I really never want to get rid of this saber. So that is the Veracity Labs Mom of All Heroes. I do know that they're doing a Mom of All Heroes Generation 2 and all that kind of stuff. I can't personally keep up with everything every saber company does. So if you're interested in any of these sabers that I'm talking about, if you're interested in the Gen 2 version of this, go check out 7 Chambers, go check out Saber Trio, or whoever I'm talking about in this video. Go check out their social media. I can't keep track and inform all of you of everything every saber company does. So if you're interested in any of that, I advise you to do your own research. I can start you on the journey, but you have to get there yourself. Otherwise, you know the old adage, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime, blah blah blah. I'm trying to help you, but I can't do everything for you. So I advise you, just go check out their social media, guys. Go check out their website, all that stuff. I can help you a little bit, but I can't help you with everything. So another tangent aside, I'll probably do multiple tangents in this video because I get all kinds of questions across everything, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I just want to, you know, clarify some things. So the next saber after I got my Anti-Flex V2 and then I sold my Twin Sons is the Mom of All Heroes by Veracity Labs, the most accurate Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi replica hilt. Now the next one is one that I also I've done a video on. I think I've done a video on all but 2 sabers that I have in my collection. This is one that I am incredibly grateful to have and to have had done for me. This is a KR Sabers flagship V2. This was custom etched and powder coated by Pete Sandoval of Bad Batch Etching. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description below to the videos on all of these sabers that I've done so far on my channel, so go check that out. But this is one that I'm incredibly happy to have, and you guessed it, this is one that I'm never going to get rid of because this one was custom to me. This is done in a Sith Dark Side custom theme. It was a red and black powder coat over an etch. It's got all these Sith symbols, Sith era, Sith, Galactic Empire, all that good stuff. Like I said, I have full in-depth videos of all of my sabers in the description below, so go check that out if you're interested. But this is another one that was installed with Proffie 2.2 and NeoPixel by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers. But not to take away from what he did with the saber, but this one was truly put over the top by Pete Sandoval of Bad Batch Etching. This one is a magnificent saber and one that I cannot stop looking at and picking up every day because it is just so gorgeous. The camera doesn't really do it justice how much this thing shines and how it looks in the light with the red and black accent. It's just absolutely amazing. So this is a KR Sabers flagship V2. If you're ever interested in a custom saber, go get a flagship. They're so easy to install. If you're an installer, they're so easy to customize. If you want to etch it, if you want to weather it, if you want to powder coat it, this saber is like one of the one out of like 3 or 4 or 5 sabers that I would fully recommend to anyone who wants to fully customize a saber. They have custom shrouds you can buy, I think from Origin Saber. You can do so much to the saber. My buddy Benji Graham of Nerf Herder Customs made an Orgus Din inspired flagship, and it looks absolutely amazing. You can do so much with these, so I fully recommend getting one of these. They're not that expensive for an empty kit, and you can do so much with it, as you can see here. So that is a KR Sabers flagship V2. The next saber in my first video was a 7 chambers Voss based on the Quinlan Voss saber from the Clone Wars series. I no longer have that. I traded it with Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers for a saber that you'll see later in this video. Now the next saber I have that is still in my collection is the 7 chambers SKIG. If it's not painfully obvious just by looking at the hilt, this is based on the Starkiller saber from the Force Unleashed series, and the IG stands for in-game, so this is accurate to what you see in-game. Now, if you bought the SKIG kit, it won't look just like this. This one was weathered and heat stained or heat blued, whatever you want to call it, people. This one was weathered and done up by Benji Graham of Nerf Herder Customs. Again, just like my Fallen V2, Benji really took this one over the top and did an amazing job with this one. This one and the Fallen V2 are 2 of the hilts that I am most proud of in my collection, not only because it was done so well and it's so accurate to what you see in the games. It's funny enough that both of them are hilts from video games, but these are ones that were done by my friends. Benji Graham of Nerf Herder Customs, I talk to him every day, and this one was also installed just like the Fallen V2 by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers LLC. Those 2 guys are great friends and they do great work in the community. I can't recommend them enough, and they are funny guys. I like chopping it up with those guys. They are funny and they make me feel welcome in this community, although I am still pretty much a newcomer to this community. A lot of people don't realize that. They think I'm this expert. I never claimed to be an expert. People look to me for guidance, and I appreciate that. But these guys have been in the community way longer than I have, and they've done way more work for the community than I could ever do. So I do deeply appreciate those 2 guys. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Benji. And again, they knocked this one out of the park. That resin crystal in there from Brittany Monreal in 7 chambers. Got the wire wrapped around the rods. This one is absolutely amazing, and I love this one. This one feels just like what a real lightsaber would feel like in my hands. This is like probably the closest I feel to holding a real lightsaber, and it's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Benji. 7 chambers SKIG. So all the rest of the sabers in this video are ones that I got and then I've just kept. I haven't sold them, I haven't traded them, blah blah blah. And this one is the Parks Graflex 2.0. This is in the Empire Strikes Back configuration. The only thing is that this beer tab thing needs to be removed, but oh well. This is in the Empire Strikes Back configuration. This is one that I actually traded my 7 chambers Voss for. These are sabers that are extremely rare because Parks no longer exists. This is a Graflex 2.0 kit, which is what a lot of people use to make Starkiller or Scrap Killers or Scrap Techs or Scrap Flexes or whatever. They can cut the shell inside of the hilt. There's so much you can do with this. hilt, the 2.0 and the 2.0's core. Check out Nerf Herder Customs YouTube channel. He's done a lot of them. Dimbeck Relics has done a lot of them. I'm sure Albert Flores and Rob Sotomayor, they've all done a ton of 2.0 kit conversions and modifications, and so has Jeremy Puckett with Solo Sabers. You can do a whole lot with these kits. And this is a saber that actually does not have a speaker in it. This is the saber that is installed with Proffie 2.2 and NeoPixel. This was installed by Starlight Sabers Sebastian, and the chassis was modeled by Solo Sabers LLC. This is my direct input audio saber that I've been using for my font demo videos. If you haven't seen my font video series, that direct input series, it's linked in the description below. Go check that out. That was a whole lot of fun making, and I plan to do more of those in the future. You know, once some more fonts come out, then I'll do some more of those videos with this saber. But this one is really cool, and this one has, like I said, it does not have a speaker. It has an input jack. It has a guitar jack, essentially, or a 1/4 inch jack. And this one is really cool. This is a Parks Graphics 2.0. Now, the next two sabers in my collection are some that maybe people wouldn't consider custom sabers, but I'm going to include them anyway because I count them as part of my collection and I paid money for them, so I'm going to count them as part of my collection. This is a Savvy's Workshop saber that I built. This thing is massive and it is very heavy, by the way. If you've never done Savvy's Workshop at Galaxy's Edge, then maybe you don't understand, but these things are incredibly heavy. They look like plastic pieces, but they're like actually metal and they're super heavy. But this is a Savvy's Workshop custom. I think they called it Power and Control, the parts, the dark side Sith looking parts of the saber. I did a video on this, linked in the description, obviously. I got a green crystal with it. Even though this is a dark side looking one, I got the green crystal because I know that the green actually is like the brightest one, or it looks the brightest. But I bought all the other crystals anyway, the green, blue, red, yellow, purple, I think. I bought all of those other crystals so I can, you know, change out the crystal on the inside of here and make whatever color I want. This is obviously nowhere even close to the other sabers I have back there in terms of customizability and usability and accessibility, all that stuff. This is a Disney, you know, Disney Tech, Savvy's Workshop, you know, very basic stuff. And I got this for the experience, you know, building a lightsaber. Even though you may have seen it in videos and stuff like that, that's one thing, but actually physically doing it and having that experience at Galaxy's Edge was really cool, especially for me, someone who loves lightsabers so much and loves Star Wars so much. I absolutely recommend it to anyone who is interested in Star Wars or lightsabers. So this is a Savvy's Workshop Power and Control custom saber that I built at Galaxy's Edge. The next one is one that a lot of you may be, you know, shaking your head at, or maybe scratching your head, why would I even get this? But this one is a Disney Legacy Darth Vader hilt. I got this at Disney Springs in Orlando when I went to Galaxy's Edge and all of that stuff. I got this just because, you know, there are a lot of Darth Vader lightsaber hilts out there, the replicas, you know, custom sabers, but I really wasn't interested in a ton of them. I didn't feel like spending the money on it because I know that this isn't a very comfortable hilt, and just holding this one I can tell it's not very comfortable hilt. And it wasn't something that, although I like Darth Vader's lightsaber, I didn't want to really spend a whole lot of money on, so I just picked this one up for like $120 or however much at Disney Springs in Orlando. And it does look very nice, you know, once you peel the stickers, like the orange or yellow stickers off of it and all of that stuff, it does look pretty nice. And I do actually enjoy the saber. It does have a blade, you know, just one color, all that stuff. It's not the greatest tech in the world, obviously, just like the Savvy's Workshop, because it is Disney sabers. It's not custom, but this is one that I picked up regardless because I do think it looks nice. It came with a stand, came with a belt clip, so that's all pretty nice. And I just picked it up because I figured, you know, I needed a Darth Vader in my collection, but I didn't feel like buying one and having it installed and all that, so I just picked this one up. And I do enjoy it. It does look pretty nice. It does have the removable blade. It has like a blade plug thing that you can put in there when you don't have the blade in. So that is pretty nice. And this is a Disney Legacy Darth Vader hilt. Next is one that, like I said earlier, I sold several of my hilts to make way for one of them. And that is this one, if it can actually fit in the screen. This is the KR Sabers /1 Replicas Revenge. This is one that is extremely rare. There were only 100 made. And it was several years ago, so you can't find these anymore unless you find someone selling them secondhand. KR Sabers and /1 Replicas won't be selling these anymore. And there are several Maul replicas out there by several different companies, you know, Watto's Junkyard, the 89 Sabers version. But I was not patient enough to get the Watto's Junkyard version, the regional manager, I believe they call it. And I had an opportunity to pick one of these up. And I know how rare these are. So I did pick it up, and it is still a great saber. The previous owner, I believe, filled in these with black paint or something, and he did, put some O-rings on there, so it does look really, really good. I don't care if it's the most accurate or not. This is one that's extremely rare, and it did cost me quite a bit. This is my most expensive saber by far. It is one that I am incredibly happy to own. Darth Maul as a kid, I grew up with the prequels. I was born during the prequel era, so this is obviously one that means a lot to me. I own a couple of prequel era sabers, and the Darth Maul one is obviously striking. So this one is installed Proffie 2.2 and NeoPixel. It has two different installs. This side and then this side is completely separate from each other. It has two different removable chassis. The auxiliary and power switch on both sides is two different things. And this is one that was done by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers. And this is probably another one that I will never get rid of. This is one that I don't use very often. I don't pick it up very often, or probably as often as I should, because I'm so nervous about it. It's a very rare saber. Like I said, there's only 100. And I'm just absolutely in love with this saber. It feels so nice in the hands. It is what I find to be true to size. And when you have two blades in there, which I think I have two 29-inch blades from Bendu Armory that I use for this, and it feels absolutely amazing, and I am really, really glad to have this saber. So this is a KR Sabers and One Replicas Revenge installed by Jeremy Puckett of Solo Sabers. Next up is one that I picked up as a beater saber. This is probably the lowest tech besides the Disney ones that I have. This is a Saber Trio Arclight. This is a custom saber, so like I said, I have 6 replicas and 6 custom sabers. Nice balance, but this is a custom saber. This is not NeoPixel. This has Pico Crumble 2.5 and is a tri-Cree saber. So it's not smooth swing, but I've done a comparison video between the FX and the NeoPixel, I believe, in my video on this saber. And it's actually a very loud saber, and it does sound pretty good. There's no smooth swing. It's obviously not NeoPixel, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. But this is a great one for dueling, for spinning. It's very, very comfortable. The choke point right here feels great when you have a blade in. It's very balanced. It is a very lightweight saber. But this is one that I really enjoy. This is a Saber Trio Arclight that I picked up secondhand. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of the saber or not, but this is one that I'm very happy to own, and it completes my trio of Saber Trio. I have a Saber Trio, and the next one is the last one in my collection. So this is a Saber Trio Arclight with Pico Crumble 2.5 and tri-Cree. And here we are, the last one in my collection, the last saber that I've gotten. And maybe the last saber I'll get for a while unless something really, really piques my interest. This is the Saber Trio Solo Guard. This is with Saber Trio's new Proffie configuration that they released, and I am incredibly happy to own this one. This is the Corin blade plug, the new blade plug that they also have. This has Proffie, like I said. Saber Trio for the very longest time only used Plector Labs boards, the Pico Crumble, the Nano Biscotti, the CFX, and now they've delved into Proffie, which I am very grateful that they did, because I really like Proffie. This is a beast of a saber. It's not super heavy. It's actually pretty comfortable. This pommel is crazy. This is obviously inspired by Ben Solo. This is not a replica. Obviously, Saber Trio does not do replicas. They do inspired by, or they do custom designs. And like I said, it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I don't really care. I do like their sabers. I own 3 of them. So obviously I do like their sabers. And all of their sabers that I own are pretty comfortable, and they're very nice to use, very easy to use. And this is their Proffie, which I've done a video on this saber, like 3 videos or 4 videos maybe, on this saber and about Saber Trio's Proffie and all that stuff. And it's something that a lot of people are a little nervous getting into right away if they're used to CFX, or if they're used to Xenopixel, or if they're used to the cheaper boards and all that stuff. People are a little bit, scared or nervous about delving into Proffie. So hopefully, if you're one of those people, you can check out those videos that I've done on Proffie versus CFX and all that stuff, and see that it really isn't that difficult. You just need to put in the time and the effort, and really focus and pay attention to like a tutorial video. Although I've gotten a lot of people comment questions on my tutorial videos about how to do something, when if you just watch the video, you'd figure out how to do it. Another tangent, blah blah blah, whatever. I just recommend checking out those videos if you're interested in Proffie versus CFX. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the sabers, and this is the last saber that I've gotten, and this is the Saber Trio Solo Guard installed with Proffie 2.2 and NeoPixel with Saber Trio's Proffie pre-configuration 1.0, which they probably will be updating rather soon to fit Proffie OS 6, stuff like gesture controls, volume control, music tracks, all that stuff. They are going to update that in the next pre-configuration. So Saber Trio Solo Guard, this is the last saber so far in my collection. So that was just a video rundown of all the sabers that I currently have. I have 12 total sabers. I have 6 custom sabers and 6 replica sabers. That will most likely change in the future. This isn't a hobby that I'll probably be able to do forever because of my career path. I plan to be a therapist, so I probably will not be able to do this in the future when I'm in PT school and all that stuff. I hope to be able to do it, but if it's not financially responsible of me, or if it's not physically possible for me to do that, then I'll obviously have to give it up. Maybe these sabers will have to be sold or whatever, or rehomed or whatever. But I do love this hobby, and I do like collecting sabers. I can't really think of a whole lot of sabers right now that I'm interested in buying. I'd love to have an Obi-Wan, the A New Hope version. That is a great saber. The only issue is that I can't find one that really sounds that amazing. I'd love a Romans Mark 1. I'd love, an 89 Sabers version. They are all great sabers. They just don't sound amazing to me because of the venting is actually in the control box area and it's not actually in the pommel. That's neither here nor there. I'd love an Obi-Wan. Even a Episode 1 Obi-Wan and Episode 1 Qui-gon Jinn. I do love prequel era Hilts and obviously original trilogy. I do have a Darth Vader, although it's not a custom saber one. I do have an Empire Strikes Back Luke, and I do have a Return of the Jedi Luke. I don't own any sequel sabers, and I probably won't. That's just not my cup of tea. I will probably find a saber in the future that I'd love to get. There are all sabers coming out all the time, but as of right now, this is probably it for a little while at least for sabers that I'm interested in buying. So this video, this collection may not change for a while, but who knows in the future. Maybe I'll do another video just like this. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're still here after 30 minutes or however long this video is, I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you next time I do one of these videos, because I'd love to see how my collection changes, and I hope it's not the same. I hope I have added more sabers or something like that in the future. So again, thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.